What's going on YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. Today's video we're going to be talking about if I regret selling my 2020 Camaro SS 1LE. So if you're new to the channel and the first car that you've seen was this GT350, this wasn't my first car on the channel. I had a 2020 Camaro SS 1LE and shot, and I'm going to explain to you if I regret selling it. So before we hop into the details, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into it. So I bought my 2020 Camaro SS 1LE brand new, and it was a joy to drive, a blast to drive. I traded in another blue Mustang, same exact color as this right here, Velocity Blue. And the instant that I traded it in, I was very happy. No regrets from selling the Mustangs to get that Camaro. But driving that Camaro, had it for about a year and 3 months, so 15 months. And I sold it, and I sold it during this pandemic. So there's a few reasons why I sold it. And the first reason that I did sell it was I began regretting not getting the 2SS Camaro 1LE. Because me, I love listening to music, heated and cool seats, heated steering wheels. Like, I love all of that stuff, all the bells and whistles. That wasn't me at first, but when I bought the Hellcat, like, it was fully loaded. I'm like, man, I like everything about this Hellcat. I had every option available on my Hellcat. And then driving the two cars like back to back every day, I began to wish that I could put the Challenger's features and interior into the Camaro, but I like driving the Camaro a lot more than I did the Hellcat. So every time I drove it, I'm like, man, I just need that little bit extra. But I got the 1SS 1LE, so that's basically a base Camaro with the 1LE package, and I did have the PDR on there too. So base Camaro, track package on it. The 1LE package was a must-have for me because, like I said, I had a base Mustang GT with like the dual mode exhaust, the black appearance package. It looks very similar to this car. Aesthetically, it's like the same, minus the this has the older front end. My Mustang had the 2018 plus facial, the face up here. And to me, the 2020 Camaro SS 1LE is definitely an upgrade over the base Mustang GT. And even the Mustang GT Performance Package Level 1 and Level 2. And people are going to hate me for this, the GT350. But I would choose the GT350 over this just because it's a more special car, and the engine, it's a hell of an engine on that car. That engine is special. That Mustang is special. But that's the only Mustang that I would choose over this one. But the 1LE is what made me buy that Camaro. So I had the base. For base, the Camaro is a lot better than the base Mustang GT. The Camaro SS, better than the Mustang GT, just standard features. It's just better. But my Camaro track package, I had to have that. I wasn't, at the time, I didn't feel like really modifying the car, and the SS 1LE just out the box is just ready. Like, I feel like I didn't have to do any modifications to it. Like, the tires were just big and wide like I wanted to. It didn't need to be lowered at all. I had the front splitter, like all the black appearances. That was my main reason for getting the SS 1LE. Wanted the handling, because the base Mustang did not handle well to me out the box. So I was like, man, I'm going to do all this stuff to it. I'm going to lower it, put bigger tires. And at the time, I was like, man, I might as well just buy a car that's already ready. And GM announced that they were going to do a $3,000 rebate for Mustang owners to buy a Camaro. Plus, I got the GM employee discount at the time. So I'm like, man, I can get out this Mustang pretty much for nothing. I owned it for like 6 months at the time. And I basically paid MSRP for my Camaro. So back to my Camaro, the features. Driving it with the Hellcat, like the bass audio in the Camaro is trash. Like, I hated that. It did have some features. The 1LE did give it the heads-up display. Love that. But I started to liking the luxury features of a car that my Hellcat brought. So ever since I bought the Hellcat, I'm like, man, I need to upgrade this Camaro. So I was thinking and thinking. And then when COVID hit, I saw values like increasing. So I started shopping my Camaro around. But the dealerships would only give me, like, when they trade in their cars, they look at the last few cars that they ran at an auction, and they say they can only pay you what the cars are getting at the auction. So at the time, they were only getting 30 grand for Camaros at the auction. And the 1LE package does not register at all. It's a $7,500 package, and they just treat it like it's a regular 1SS at trade-in. So I decided I was going to sell my Camaro, but I didn't plan on buying one of these. This was going to be in my future, but I wasn't ready to buy a GT350 just yet. I was shopping for a ZL1 as I had my Camaro SS 1LE for sale, and I saw one. They just kept selling. Like, every time I found one, inquired, they were just gone, and that was all the ones that were local. So yeah, as I had my car listed on the marketplace, I'm like, all right, I was looking for a ZL1, and then as it was listed, Mac, he ended up giving me a generous offer for my Camaro, like 8 grand more than what the dealerships were offering. So I'm like, I gotta sell it. Then I found out he worked for a dealer, and I sold my Challenger as well. And then he was trying to buy this exact car here, but they couldn't work out the pricing, so I bought this car. So that explains how I ended up with the Mustang. I took Mac's car from him. I brought $500 more to the table. No regrets on that. But do I miss my Camaro? That's the real question. I do prefer the looks of the Camaro to the GT350, but the Camaro that I own, I prefer the GT350. So for me, the pony cars, well, the Camaro and the Mustang, I put the GT350 above the SS, even the SS 1LE, but I put the ZL1 look-wise on top of the GT350, and that's what I was going for. But comparing it to how they drive, I feel like the Camaro had a really good chassis. It handled better than the GT350 to me, but there were certain things. The Camaro also has more features than the Mustang, and to be fair, the Camaro is newer than the Mustang. The S550 Mustang came out in 2015, and the 6th gen Camaro came out in 2016. So to be fair, the Camaro is the newest of all the 3 pony cars out of Detroit. I do miss the driving characteristics, and I do wish I could have got that car on the track. Like, it's a lovely car to drive, and I hate when people argue about what's better between the Mustang and Camaro. To be honest, they're so similar. Like, the Mustang's more practical, and this Mustang, the engine revs higher. And the Camaro, it has more torque down low and is faster off the line than the GT350. And other than that, they are so similar. Like, I'll say maybe 5-10% they're within each other. The GT350, not a GT, the GT350 and the Camaro SS 1LE are like this. I give the slight edge to the GT350. So since I bought this exact car, do I miss the Camaro SS 1LE? I can't say for my particular car, the base 1SS 1LE, I don't miss it. This is the better car to me. Had I had the 2SS 1LE, that could have been debatable. It would have been really, really close, but still, I would have gave the slight edge to the GT350. And this is why I like making these videos. I give you an ownership perspective of it. Like, I've owned the cars long enough to give you a real perspective on them. I'm just not a person that's just a journalist just getting the car for like an hour and throwing out whatever review. I live with these cars every day. My kids ride in these cars. This is my family car. So comparing the two, the D-cell, on this Mustang GT350 with the resonator delete, to get the pops and cracks on D-cell, you go up to 6,000 RPM down to 4,000 RPM, and you slightly tap the gas on D-cell. That's when you get the pops. But on the Camaro, you can be at 2,000 RPM and just take your foot off the accelerator, and it just starts popping. And the first time I heard that, I was just smiling from ear to ear. Like, that's a great thing. Bone stock, it pops a lot. So to sum things up, do I regret selling my Camaro? I don't. Like, I got my money out of the Camaro. I had it long enough to experience. I had it longer than what I planned on having it, but I liked the car so much that I did keep it longer. And I was going to start doing like a build on it, but then I'm like, if I'm going to like start doing the front fascia, and nobody had, the Camaros take a while to get the mods to it. Like, I wanted the ZL1 front fascia and a couple other things like headers, potentially supercharging the thing. And I'm like, I might as well just buy a ZL1. So that's when I started looking for the ZL1s as opposed to holding on to my Camaro. And then I couldn't find a ZL1, and this popped up. The GT350 is a more practical car than the Camaro, but it's something about the chassis on the Camaro that I give the edge of the chassis of the Camaro. I'll take that over the GT350. If they could put that chassis on this car, hands down, this one. The practicality, the Mustang wins, but for the power delivery on a day-to-day basis, the Camaro has torque down low. So for a daily driver, for the powertrain, that works. Every time I'm having fun in here, I gotta be speeding, because the party starts at 4,500 RPM. Everybody that I let drive the car, it's funny to see their reaction because they're underwhelmed at first. And I'm like, you gotta rev it all the way out. Go all the way out. And then they're like, oh, that's where the magic happens. To sum things up, do not regret selling it. I missed the car. I have a ZL1 on order, so I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the ZL1 to the GT350. So looking forward to making those videos. Hopefully that happens sooner than later, because with the current situation going on globally, parts, there's delays. It normally takes 6 to 8 weeks. It can take 3 to 4 months. Hopefully it's sooner. Thanks for everybody that commented on the last video that ordered a 2022 Camaro. Now I kind of got an estimation of when it should be. I'm thinking sometime in October, which would be great. So yeah. And actually, I knew I was going to get another Camaro the whole time, because I still have my other set of wheels. I sold my boiler exhaust because I was underwhelmed with it for the price. $1,800 for axle backs. Get headers. Just get headers on that. So a little bit underwhelmed with the stock exhaust in terms of my liking. I like deep and loud. And that's kind of contradictory to this car, but that's what this car is. I started to get a double H pipe from Corsa from this, but I couldn't find any audio clips. I didn't want to be a guinea pig to pay that. And then it was on back order too, so I got the X pipe, so Mr. Raspy. But yeah, so I got a couple things from my Camaro still. I kept those parts in my storage room. I knew I was going to get another Camaro one day, and that'll be here really soon. So I hope you guys understand with selling the Camaro. Like, they're so similar. Like, I can't stand arguing which one is better. They're both great cars. Like, I could toss a coin and live with either one. But I'm interested in the ZL1 because I think I'll give that the slight edge. Even though it doesn't directly compare to this car, I'm stepping stones. So the GT500 compares more to the ZL1. And each one has a huge leap in horsepower. This has 526. The ZL1 has 650. And the GT500 has 760. So they're like 100 horsepower plus over each other. So we'll see. Maybe one day I'll see what the GT500 is like. I don't know. With that being said, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have a Mustang, would you ever buy a Camaro? If you have a Camaro, would you ever buy a GT350 like me? So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. This is Q signing out. Check you all out on the next video. Peace out.